More than 2,000 years ago, Rome was becoming one of the most powerful empires the world had ever seen. Its armies marched across Europe, conquered lands in Asia, and expanded deep into North Africa. But beyond the southern frontier of Roman Egypt stood a kingdom Rome could not simply intimidate. It was the Kingdom of Kush, located south of Egypt in the region we now know as Sudan. Kush had developed a powerful civilization of its own. Its cities were filled with temples, markets, craftsmen, and wealthy merchants. Kush was famous for its gold, agriculture, trade, and skilled warriors. Its wealth helped make the kingdom one of the most important powers in northeastern Africa. But Kush was more than a wealthy kingdom. It was a kingdom that knew how to fight. And at the center of this powerful kingdom stood a remarkable ruler. Her name was Amanirenas. She was a queen of Kush, and she would soon face one of the greatest powers the ancient world had ever known. Then, everything changed. In 30 BC, Rome took control of Egypt. Suddenly, the mighty Roman Empire was sitting directly on Kush's northern border. For Kush, this was a dangerous new reality. Rome had enormous armies, powerful commanders, and resources from across its growing empire. But Queen Amanirenas did not intend to simply watch Rome expand. She decided to strike first. Around 25 BC, Amanirenas led Kush into war against Roman-controlled territory. It was a bold decision. Kush was challenging one of the most powerful empires on Earth. Kushite forces moved north. Warriors marched across the desert toward Roman-controlled Egypt. Their goal was not simply to defend their kingdom. They were taking the fight directly to Rome. Kushite soldiers attacked Roman positions in southern Egypt. Cities were captured, Roman monuments were damaged, and prisoners were taken. The message was clear. Kush would not simply accept Roman domination. Rome could not ignore the attack. The Roman governor of Egypt, Gaius Petronius, was ordered to respond. He gathered a large Roman force and marched south. The Roman army pushed deep into Kushite territory. Their numbers and military organization gave them a huge advantage. But the farther they traveled south, the more difficult the campaign became. The Romans eventually reached Napata, one of the great centers of Kushite power. The city was attacked. Rome had demonstrated its military strength. But the war was far from over. Amanirenas now faced a difficult choice. She could surrender. She could accept Roman demands. Or she could continue fighting an empire far larger than her own kingdom. Kushite forces continued to challenge the Romans. The war became a struggle of endurance. Rome had the larger empire, but Kush knew the land, and Amanirenas knew that defeating Rome did not necessarily mean destroying its entire army. The Romans soon discovered a difficult reality. The farther they traveled into Kush, the harder it became to maintain their position. Supplies had to cross harsh terrain. The distance from Roman Egypt was enormous, and Kush was fighting on familiar ground. Amanirenas understood something important. She did not need to conquer Rome. She only needed to make the war too difficult for Rome to continue. Kush continued resisting Roman pressure. Eventually, negotiations began. The two sides met to discuss peace. Rome had conquered enormous territories across the ancient world, but Kush had survived the Roman campaign. Today, the Kingdom of Kush is often overshadowed by the civilizations of ancient Egypt and Rome. But Kush had its own kings, queens, armies, cities, temples, and traditions. Its pyramids still stand in the Sudanese desert. Rome would eventually become one of the greatest empires in history. But even Rome had limits. And in the deserts of Africa, a powerful kingdom proved that the Roman Empire could be challenged. Queen Amanirenas may not have conquered Rome. She didn't need to. She stood against Rome, she fought, she negotiated, and she helped preserve the independence of Kush.